If you are a content creator on a church staff, I'm sure you've experienced working on a project only to present it to your leadership, and it's either not what they wanted, or minds have changed a lot since you started the project. Or you might have that project that will just never ever end. You've been through 5,000 rounds of revisions, and it will never ever be over. So what can we do about it? How do we revise our work without losing our soul and our sanity? We'll talk about it today.
This is the definitive podcast for helping you plan, create, and execute dynamic worship experiences at your church. Useful, practical content in the areas of production, worship, communications, first impressions, and more. This is Making Sunday Happen.
Hey guys, welcome to the podcast. I hope you made it through Christmas and you're getting some time away with your family. We have a lot of folks who listen to this episode, the kind of end of the year episode of the podcast, listen to it on the road as they're traveling back to and from the holiday. So if that's you, be safe on the road. Be sure to listen to me audio and not video and audio as you're driving. This episode, you get me, so we're going to get right to it. I'll be sharing a talk that I've done several times this year at conferences, all about how to revise your work without losing your soul. Some tips for how to help you with revisions and how to deal with your leadership. And if you are the senior leader, ways to have great collaboration with the content creators on your team. This episode is brought to you by Subsplash, so let's hear a little bit about them and then we'll jump in. Here we go.
With so many people living on the go, connecting with your community anytime and anywhere is crucial. That's why we created a way for you to do this. Introducing Subsplash Live. With Subsplash Live, you can stream your content in real time. Your weekend services, sermons, events, youth camps, worship gatherings, anything. Making it even easier to share gospel-centered content and engage your community right where they're at. And Subsplash Live is powerfully integrated with the rest of the Subsplash platform, so your live stream works everywhere, your mobile app, TV app, and website, plus syndication to the most popular platforms. We've made it easy to get started with Subsplash Live. With no restrictions on equipment, you can get started with something as simple as your smartphone or webcam and share it on all of your channels. Plus, with our all-in-one media solution, your live stream is automatically converted into on-demand content and published to your media library. Subsplash Live is a simple and powerful way to reach your audience and share your content. And now, as part of the ultimate engagement platform, going live has never been easier.
Hey guys, Carl Barnhill from 1230 Media here. Hope you're doing well today. In this workshop, I'm going to be sharing with you 3 things about how to prevent as many rounds of revisions on projects as possible. We've all been there when we thought a project was over and it just will not end. We are 5, 7, 10 rounds of revisions later. We're still working on the same project. This is the project that never goes away. We've all been there. So I'm going to be sharing with you today some things that you can do on the front end of a project, during the project, and on the back end of a project when you're about to deliver it, and even past that will help you with revisions. And certainly haven't arrived. Our team at 1230 Media hasn't arrived in this area. We're still working through that, but we've found some things along the way that hopefully you can implement at your church or your ministry that will help you along the way too. All right, number 1, let's jump right on in here. Here we go. Number 1 is work smarter on the front end. One major way to prevent revisions is to do everything that you can to gather all creative direction and decisions before you even begin a project. Okay? You can also divide the workload on the front end of a project to help you be efficient. What do I mean? Well, here's some ideas. If at all possible, hire a project manager for your team. If you are at a church, this could be your communications director. This could be your creative director. It could be an admin. okay? But set this person up with a project management system like Asana or Monday.com or Basecamp or one of those. And one thing that I've learned is I wish I had bit the bullet and hired a full-time project manager long before I actually pulled the trigger on one. Oh, I don't need it. I can handle it. I can do it. I wish I would have hired that person years ago when I was first starting out. That was probably the first hire I should have made. What I did is I brought on other video guys to our team, other designers and video guys, where I wish I would have put that project manager in place first. Okay, so get someone who is really skilled at the details and can help your team stay organized. Okay. Also, most project management systems like Asana, our team uses Asana, have a free version for the amount of work that you're probably going to do. Our team runs hundreds and hundreds of projects a month, and we have a creative team of close to 30 people as of this recording. And we're still in a free version of Asana for the amount of work that we do. So you might, we're getting close. We tried to rearrange things in Asana where we can stay in the free version. It's getting harder and harder to do that. But I tell you all that to say a lot of these project management systems, with the amount of projects that you're probably going to do, you're probably getting a free version and can stay in the free version. So use it. So the cost involved to you is hiring that person. Even it can be part-time, it could be full-time, it could be a repurpose of somebody that you already have, but hire a project manager on your team and have your project manager lay everything out in project tasks and subtasks. So you're also going to create multiple checkpoints along the way for everyone involved. So for example, on one project that our team works on, we have multiple subtasks and checkpoints. Subtasks for everything from creative direction, reviewing creative direction, script writing, reviewing and approving script writing, reviewing the comps of a project, posting revisions, the actual revisions, final delivery, archiving the project, closing the project. Like that's just a few of the subtasks that we have on the people on our team. Now, all this might sound overkill, and in a way it might be. But it's a lot to keep up with, but it keeps us organized and it gives clear checkpoints along the way. Let me give the flip side of not doing it this way, okay? Let me walk through a scenario. Pastor or pastors give you a project. You go off and you spend days or weeks on that project. You deliver it. They don't like it. You get frustrated because it wasn't clear what they wanted, or their mind has changed in the process of you doing the project. And you've wasted a lot of time, okay, that you could have been doing something else. You get frustrated, and that's where we are, and that happens over and over and over, okay? Working smarter on the front end gives checkpoints along the way and keeps the projects in front of people. This way you can shift course or even kill the project before it gets too far down the line. What if at checkpoint 2, pastor is like, I'm going to change my mind on the series? Okay, but before, if he hadn't had a checkpoint, you could kill if he gets to that point and he has a checkpoint, you can kill the project. But before, you might be in a scenario where he's like, "Oh, I've decided on a different series or a different series title, or I want blue instead of red, or I want to call it this and not that. I'm so sorry, I forgot to tell you." But I've spent 2 days on this graphic and all its deliverables. Why didn't you tell me, Pastor? But if he has a checkpoint, if you have a project manager and he has a checkpoint, it's in front of him so that he can see, oh, wait a second. I haven't told Carl that I'm changing the name of the series. Oh, hang on a second. Let's change the name of the series. Oh, good. I'm sitting there going, good, because I'm only at the main design and I haven't done all the deliverables yet. I don't have to go change those, okay? You follow me here? It creates checkpoints along the way where you can adjust course in midstream and not waste a lot of time. Okay. Also, I want to tell you how I've structured our team. So if there's ways to spread out the workload, this might give you some ideas. Okay. So we have a project manager who manages all of our projects. We also have a creative director. Now, This creative director gives direction on a project. They pull inspiration or samples. They pull assets and elements needed for a project, and they also review the project along the way. We have an incredible creative director on our team that does all of this. Now, why do I put that? I have a project manager and a creative director and video guys and designers. Why do I have so many people in the mix? Well, because I want the designer doing the design. I want the video guy doing the video. I don't need to waste the time of the designer to go out and search Unsplash or wherever we're pulling elements from. You're the same way. If you can have a creative director, it could be a volunteer, it can be an intern to help you find elements, but put somebody else in the mix to help you save time in the process. Okay? So, sure, there's work for the designer to do. Once our creative director pulls elements, of course there's more work for that designer to do, and they have the freedom to pull in what they need, but adding this creative director position allows them to focus on their strengths of designing and be efficient. Okay, so we have a project manager, we have a creative director, and then we have a design and video team. Now, I understand that you might be at a church that cannot bring on all these roles, but what about me? We don't have the funds. That'd be nice, but we don't have the people to do that. So here's a couple of things I would consider. I consider part-timers. I consider volunteers who can come in and help with some things, help with pulling inspiration, help with pulling elements, hey, go shoot these photos. I need these things, so that I can focus on the design. Now, I bet if you looked hard enough, you could find a designer in your church that would be willing to donate some time to help on some of these things too, or multiple designers, or video guys, or photographers, or videographers. Bring them in and create a photo team and say, hey, I need some photos. Would you be willing to do this as a part of your offering to the church? Would you donate an hour a week, an hour a month to help us with these things? Okay, so think outside the box. It doesn't have to be all on you. Doesn't have to be all on your team. Create the team to do things that you need to save time on the front end. All right, another thought here on working smarter on the front end is this. When you have multiple subtasks and checkpoints, you have built a system that shows where the bottlenecks are. Okay, it's not just so-and-so is holding us up. Now you have proof that so-and-so is holding you up, whether that's the pastor or someone else on your team, okay? So what you also have in a system is it shows and collects data on how much you're going round and round on projects if you are. You can add in, you can say, this is subtask, this was round number of revisions number 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, you can sit down and say, we did this same thing on multiple projects. The last 5 projects, we've had 4 rounds of revisions. Okay? And here's the proof in Asana or in our project management system of how that is true. I want to maximize our time. I want to use our congregation's tithe money in a wise and efficient way. Okay? So we need to be more efficient. Okay? So, but that project management system, that project manager, those tasks, those subtasks, that system proves that fact for you. It's not just pulling it out of the air. Hey, last time I think we went 3 or 4 rounds of no, it's last time we went 5 rounds of revisions, and I know because I have it in Asana right here. Not to be mean, but it helps you collect data. Okay. That said, if you're the one doing the project, you can look to your system and say that we've been waiting on feedback to come in from everyone. So let's make sure that we have a full list of revisions before I go in and do them. Okay? And you can point to your system. So if you are working with a client and they have 15 committees that they need to see a video or a design, that's fine. Okay? But we have a point. I'll tell you what our team does. We have one point of contact for their team. So if we have a client and the client has 15 committees that they need to go through to see everything and make comments on or whatever, let them. That's fine. But we as a ministry have one point of contact, and we tell that point of contact, we ask that person, let us know when all the comments are in and done, and give us a green light to go in and make the changes. But we're not going to touch it until all comments are in. And if there is an oops, we have one person that didn't look at it, we now have the clout to say we're going to have to charge you more for another round of those edits. And sometimes we do, sometimes we don't, depending on how intense the change is. If it's a little small thing or we haven't started yet, we'll try to work it in. But it kind of puts a system in place that makes their point of contact go, I'm so sorry, guys, but we have one more thing. And so we can say, that's no problem, we'll do it this time, but hey, next time let's make sure that we have everybody. Okay, so it creates a system there. So how you could do this in your setting at your church is add a money value or a time value to the changes being requested, okay? Which leads me to my second thing, okay? So number one is work smarter on the front end. Number two is put a dollar amount or a time value on your revisions. So even if you are a salaried employee at your church, that's fine. I'm going to give you an idea to try. If you are having to do multiple passes of a project, start calculating how much the church is having to spend to go round and round. So here's what I mean. Let's say a revision is being asked of you that would take you 2 days to do. Be respectful, but it is okay to say, this revision is going to take me and our team about 2 days to accomplish and do it right. Now, would you rather us work on this revision or move on to the next project? Now, again, be very respectful. Don't be agitated. Don't be frustrated. Do this with a spirit of politely educating them on the cost or putting that in front of them and letting them make the decision. We do this with clients. We say that revision, though it might seem like a little tweak with new rendering and compressing of files, packaging it, all of that, the render alone is going to be 7 hours or whatever the case may be. It might seem like a little tweak, but that revision is going to cost this much. Now, we're happy to do it. We'll be glad to do it. And if it's worth it to you to add that cost onto your project, we'll get to it right away. Okay? But I would say, and I would do this when I was on staff at a church, at churches too, I would present it that way. Hey, it's going to take 2 days to do this. Do you want me to do that, or would you rather me move on? I would say that 89 to 90% of the time, if you've built trust with your leadership and with your clients, about 80 to 90% of the time, both as an employee at a church and as a company, the response is usually this. It's usually, oh, I didn't realize that. Oh, never mind. It's not that big of a deal. We'll go with the current version. That's fine. I'm telling you, about 80-90% of the time, that is absolutely the case. So what they're really saying is, this change is not worth that amount of time or money to do. And that's fine. Let it be their decision. So if I hadn't put a dollar amount or a time value on the revisions, it would not have given them the necessary information to make a decision of where they wanted me to spend my time. And as a boss, we now have 26, almost 30 people on our team as of this recording. As a boss, I appreciate that. When I was a boss in a church setting or ministry setting, I worked at Precept Ministries for a while. We directed a TV and radio program. I had 10, 15 people on my team. Church setting the same way. As a boss, I would appreciate that. When it's done in respect, I appreciate that, because sometimes I just don't know. I don't know that that's going to take 2 days, and if I trust my team, I know that they're telling me the truth. Okay, so I can weigh it. I can go, you know what? This is going to be out there for years to come. We need to make that change. Let's spend the time, go do it. Or it could be, you know what? It's only airing this Sunday. It's only airing one time. Not worth it. We'll just keep it the way it is. But that educates me on making that decision. Now, I don't mind my team members asking that. Would you spend your money? How I want to spend my money is basically what you're asking your boss too. Do you want me spending my time and my money doing that, or do you want me to move on to the next thing and spend my, your money, my time on something else? Now, I say that But I will caution you here. Don't overdo this. If it's a quick fix, it's only going to take you a few minutes, just do it. Okay? No questions asked. Just go do it. If it's a quick text change and it only takes you a few minutes to render out that video again, or to change, week 1 to week 2 in that announcement graphic, or a date on just go do it. Okay? It really doesn't take that long to change June 1st to June 5th and spit out another PSD. Just go do it. Okay? But if it is a longer, more significant, more reconstruction type change, and you want to educate me on that, sometimes your bosses... Now, I'm in a unique situation in that I have some design experience and some video experience. But in a church world, a pastor's probably going to not have the same experience, so they're just not going to know. Okay? So instead of getting frustrated with them, put it there in front of them and say, "Hey, that's a significant change. Do you want my time spent there, or is that worth the time spent there, or do you want me doing something else?" Okay? All right? So put it in their court, let them decide. Okay? So, again, number 1, let's review a little bit. Number 1, in revising your work and not losing your soul, work smarter on the front end. And number 2 is put a dollar amount or time value on your revisions. Okay? So that has really helped me a whole lot, especially kind of putting a dollar amount, or if it comes down to it, you can actually say, if you're an employee that's hourly, or even you want to be careful with throwing your salary numbers out there, but you can actually say, hey, it's going to cost this amount of money and this amount of time. Do you want to do that? And you can say, say if you make $40,000 a year, divided by 12 months, divided by 20 working days, you know what you make in a day. You can say, hey, is it, do you want my, your money, the tithe money being spent there? Okay, you get me. All right, number 3 is review your work. So number 1 and number 2, number 1, work smarter on the front end. Number 2, put a dollar or time value with your revision. Number 3, review your work. Now, I know this sounds really, really simple and silly, okay? But this is another really easy tip that we tend to forget, okay? Review your work. I can't tell you how many times that I have fully rendered a project and I'm about to send it for delivery, but I take a second, I watch it in its entirety, I watch it again, and I notice a couple of mistakes. And this is not like a perfectionist thing necessarily. This is, oh my gosh, I completely misspelled that. Oh my goodness, I have 2 words twice. Oh, or the same word twice. Oh no, the date's wrong. All right, so go in. You can go in and change it. So watch and listen to your entire video, or look at your entire project, and don't just skim through it. Take a few minutes and look at it. Read as much as you can. Read it. Okay. Have a spouse or someone that look at your design real quick before sending it. Because you might be too deep, hey, have somebody, your coworker, your spouse walk in, hey, look at this. Am I missing anything? Okay, good. Send it. Okay, just take a minute. Now, I probably go a little overboard on this because if it's a video, I watch it a couple of times all the way through before I render a final version, and I watch it through after I've rendered a final version. Now, why do I do that? It's not good enough to just watch it in Premiere or watch it in After Effects, because you and I both know that something can go wrong in a render. Something can go wrong in an export. Okay, watch it all the way through in your project, in your software, and after it's exported too. Or if you want to wait until after it's exported, that's fine. But if you watch it on both ends, you're more apt to catch something. Okay, now why? Because as many mistakes, even little tiny ones like misspellings or audio glitches, jump frames, fragments, the little things not on right, anything like that you can catch before sending final versions for delivery will make you look more professional. It will make you look more efficient, and it will save you time in the long run. It will save you time in revisions. Okay, if you can catch stuff, then you don't have to revise it. Now, I know that sounds silly, but let's take another second. And, even with myself, even with our team, sometimes if we were to just hang on, take one quick breath, let's watch this 30-second video all the way through, make sure we're good, then we're sending it. That 30 seconds will matter, because you don't want to be in a situation, let's take a video, for instance, where you skim through it, somebody else skims through it, oh, looks great. You get to Sunday morning, you play the video, and there's audio glitching and jumping around everywhere because you didn't listen to it. Okay? Catch that stuff, and some of that's on us to watch it back before we deliver it. Okay? Review your work before sending it, all of it. Okay, so how can you revise your work and not lose your soul? Work smarter on the front end, put a dollar amount or time value on your revisions, and 3, review your work. If you have any questions on how to implement these strategies, or have any questions for your team, any other questions that we can help you with, feel free to reach out to me. I would love to hear from you. My email is Carl, C-A-R-L, at 1230.media. That's all spelled out, no numbers, the word 12, the word 30.media. Carl at 1230.media. You're more than welcome to shoot me an email anytime. The details matter, and you getting stuff like this, revisions, right, helps you be more efficient in what you're doing. It helps us all be more efficient. It helps us all pastor well, because if we can spend less time on our computer fixing stuff and more time with people, then we can pastor our people well. We reach our community. And it makes our church look better. It makes our ministries look more professional, like we know what we're doing and that we're on top of it. Okay? You are making an impact. Keep it up. What you do matters for the kingdom. God bless you guys. I'll see you in the next video. Hey guys, I wanted to let you know about our massive holiday sale here at 1230 Media. For a limited time, we are offering our entire library, our Go Unlimited annual plan, for $100 off the regular price. That means that instead of $396 a year, you're getting unlimited downloads of mini movies, countdowns, series boxes, packs, title and social graphics, and more for only $296 a year. It's a steal, under $300 for the entire library for a year. Everything currently in the library, plus all new releases for the next year, and we are adding to the library literally daily. Just go to 1230.media/go. That's 1230.media/go, and use the code HOLIDAY100 at checkout when signing up for our annual plan. Again, 1230.media/go, and use the code HOLIDAY100 when signing up for our annual plan. That's 1230.media/go.
The show notes for this episode are available now at makingsundayhappen.com.
Hey guys, thanks so much for hanging out this week and this year. We've had an incredible ride of podcasts this year. Some really special guests have been on. I want to thank you guys for your support of me and the 1230 team. We're praying that we've provided content for you that will help you make Sunday happen. Not just moving faders and pushing buttons, but how to lead people, just some ideas and practical tips from folks in the industry, leaders, as well as folks in the trenches. So we have really strived to do that this year. We cannot wait to share the people and the shows that we have planned for 2023. In the coming weeks, you're going to hear from worship leader Dave Dolphin, also church planning and multiplication consultant Mac Lake. I'll talk to Jeff Reed about VR Church, and many more on the way this year. I also want to thank our great team at 1230 Media, not just the team that puts this podcast together, AJ Schubert, Daniel Stavanis, AC Black, Suzanne Conyers, Steve Dirks, but our entire team. We have a list of designers and video producers, those who write scripts for us, and all kinds of stuff. And so it's just been an amazing experience working with this team, and we're just getting started. We serve
a lot of folks, dozens of churches as well as large ministries around the country with ready-made media. We have a full library of ready-made media, also custom media, whether that's sermon bumpers or promos or graphics or all kinds of things for churches and ministries like Outreach and Awana and Answers in Genesis and all kinds of other big ministries. It really is amazing who we're getting to serve and who we're getting to partner with. We also have a training bucket with this podcast and also a weekly blog. And then we have a 1230 Kids brand that has all three of those buckets as well. Kids, ready-made media library. We serve folks in the custom media space with kids media, custom media for kids ministry, as well as training. We have a weekly blog or podcast that comes out through our 1230 Kids brand, all to minister to your kids, pastors, and leaders. This year, or very soon, we're going to be launching 1230 Students, which will minister to your youth pastors, your student pastors and leaders. So we're really excited about that as well. We have some awesome announcements like that on the way for 2023. You just don't want to miss the podcast as I'll be sharing some inside behind the scenes announcements on some of that stuff, and a lot of it will be coming out this year. Just some amazing big partnerships that we have and stuff like that. So thank you for your support. It's just been an incredible ride being with you this year, so we really appreciate it. Next week, as we move into a new year of shows, I'll welcome Vaughn Glitchka. Vaughn owns Glitchka Studios, which is a boutique design firm located in the Pacific Northwest. He's a designer and illustrator with nearly 40 years of design experience working in brand identity design, illustration, and marketing. His book, Vector Basic Training, has been translated into 7 languages, becoming an industry standard teaching resource in art schools and college design programs worldwide. I'll be talking with Vaughn next week about how design plays a huge role in making Sunday happen at your church. We'll go out there and create some incredible worship experiences this weekend. Happy New Year. I'll see you next week.
Making Sunday Happen is a production of the ministry of 1230 Media. For show notes, archive episodes, and more free resources for your church, visit makingsundayhappen.com.